What if boldness was the key to unlocking everything you've been waiting for? Your purpose, your confidence, and your calling. Hi, I'm Ann Meyer, and welcome to Seizing Your Greatness. Today's guest, well, she's living proof that when you lead with faith and fierce determination, nothing can stand in your way. Dr. Onika Shirley is the Boldness Coach. She's a powerhouse speaker, a serial entrepreneur, right after my own heart, and of course, a transformational leader who empowers others to silence fear, walk in purpose, and build unapologetically bold lives and businesses. She's the founder of Action Speaks Volume, holds a PhD in Christian counseling, and has inspired audiences around the globe with her unstoppable energy and truth. Dr. Onika, I'm honored to have you on the show, and I just want to say, welcome.
Thank you. Super excited to be here. Oh my God, this is great.
Yeah, I'm excited too. A friend of ours introduced us, and I was so blessed because he introduces me to the most wonderful human beings. And you are such a powerhouse. And I just love that you are able to incorporate unstoppable boldness, fierceness, God, all, entrepreneurial spirit, womanhood, all of the things that make us who we are. And I just love that you were able to create that all in one body. So I'm curious, we all started from somewhere. What is it that you would love the audience to know about you that maybe they can't find when they go searching for you on the internet?
Oh wow, that is a great question. One thing that I would say that most wouldn't find, but I have talked about some is kind of how I have overcame two car wrecks 4 months apart at the age of 19, which is kind of the driver for the perseverance and the determination and having to walk by faith that I have. So that's probably one thing that is not out there um, boldly, but celebratory, where I talk about it annually, which happened to be the 22nd of this month, made 29 years.
Oh, wow. It's wow. I love that. I love that you've been able to turn pain into purpose. And really, I do believe that we are put through certain things just so that we can walk our talk. And I'm curious what your thoughts are about that because you are a bold speaker. I mean, you're an author. You're always sharing your thoughts, your wisdom, and your love. And for those of you who are on the internet and like all of us are, I'd love for you to check out our Facebook too, because you have like some really fun videos. You really do.
Thank
So
you.
like, how did you, I mean, nobody's really born thinking, I'm going to share who I am because it takes a lot of vulnerability and courage. How are you able to build that within yourself?
I think those 2 car wrecks helped me to build those things. Having those car wrecks at the age of 19 in the 12th grade, you looking at that's the prime of our lives when we're getting ready to start life after 12 years of being in school. And I
Mhm.
think, having the scars that I have, from my face to my leg, those things inspired me, despite how bad they were, to build the confidence within myself to say that yes I can. And I think it's important for the audience to know that it's those experiences, because if we don't have experiences we're not experienced. And so we have to have those experiences that we can genuinely say that this is what I've been through, but this is also the way I handle it. And one of my favorite quotes is Charles Swindoll, where he says life is 10% of what happens to us, but it's 90% of how we respond. And so when we think about, having those experiences and the things that we go through in life, it's how we respond to it that kind of
Mhm.
define the greatness, how we're able to seize our dreams and be bold in life, because we've been through some things, and it helps us to know that there's always an equal opposite to what we have experienced in life.
Ooh, I like that. An equal opposite. Because there's a lot of us that have experienced a lot of the things we don't necessarily want to. And it's nice to think, hey, there's something on the other side.
Yes.
And I'm curious too, with both of those accidents, did it really make you understand that life is finite and that we are very blessed to be here.
Oh, absolutely. Especially car wreck number 2. Car wreck number 2 was um life changing, where it altered my career path. It altered the things that I'm still able to do 29 years later. So it is a blessing to even be here today. And that's why I constantly think on a daily basis that this is the day that the Lord has made, and I choose to rejoice and be glad in it, because I could have not been here um, after those 2 car wrecks. And so it's just a blessing to say that I'm here today. I'm going to show up today. I'm not going to complain about today. But those accidents truly, truly, truly made me the person that I am today. And so grateful that I'm still here to be able to do the work that I've been called and created to do.
And what I'm hearing too is that it's increased your faith in life and in God and in the universe and just this whole experience of being alive. Would that be accurate?
That is accurate. Again, as I go back to those wrecks, and when you find yourself in a position where you can't physically walk, and the doctors are telling you certain things, you had to have a faith that was right then. And so now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So the faith that I had to have was the faith that allowed me to be able to walk again, that allowed me to get off of crutches after walking on them for a year, that allowed me to have that unshakable confidence in myself with the physical scars. Because if you saw me, you really couldn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And so having that faith that it was going to get better, having the faith that it was not going to be like this always,
Mm-hmm.
having that faith. And so I knew that there was someone and something that was bigger than what I had to offer. So it definitely increased my faith.
I love that so much because well, faith is such a almost tricky thing because we're so used to this physical world where we want to see it right in front of our eyes. But in order sometimes for things to come, we have to know it and believe it in our hearts and to create that with the universe. And I love anybody that can take these things, these traumas, and not let the define them in a way that is negative, but help them grow and become something bigger and better than maybe they would have originally thought of at 19 years old, especially.
Exactly. And I want to talk to that because this is what I think about. If we're going to make up something, they say fear is the false evidence appearing real, which that's
Hmm.
the negative side of that equal opposite. So faith is the substance of things not seen. So if I'm going to make up something, why not make up something that's going to make me feel good? Why not make up something that's going to make me happy? Why not make up something that makes my life be what I want? Like having the life that I desire, that I
Hmm.
design, and not one by default because of fear. So if I'm going to make up something, make it so good that you actually enjoy it.
Something that gets you excited to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
You're right. It takes just as much effort to create something fearful as something joyful. And what is going to serve you more? That's something that I always try and remind myself. It's sometimes I get stuck in that hamster wheel of negativity. But how do you, because we all have thoughts that are not necessarily fear based. We all have fear based thoughts. It's part of being human. But I feel as though you have a way of recognizing it quicker than most and being able to turn that around and using it in your favor. How do you do that?
You have to take every thought captive and you have to move quickly.
Mm.
I'm going to say that again. You have to take every thought captive and move quickly. Because if you have a negative thought and you move slowly, it's simmering and it just
Mhm.
builds and it gets worse and it stacks upon each other. But when you have that negative thought and it's not serving you, it's not making you feel good, it's not giving you that energy that you need, you have to take it captive really quick and shift. So what I
Mm-hmm.
like to do is have some if then statements. So if this happened, then I'll do this. So you have to be ready. And what I mean by being ready, be prepared for the worst,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes when we're expecting and have these high expectations of the best, then we're disappointed quickly. And not to say that we're doubting everything, but we don't set ourselves up for failure because we're expecting everything, and then when we don't get it, we're disappointed. So I think
Mm.
it's important that we take our thoughts captive quickly and and grab them again to something that we desire. And I mean, that's where we get our mantras from, our affirmations, our mantras and affirmations, where we repeat these things that we want to hear. And you have to have those things ready, those things that are true and those things that are lovely, those things that make you feel good, those things that are honest. When we continue to have some of those hidden in our heart and hidden in our minds and written around us where we can look around at positive things, we got to have it on the doorposts. We must have it on the desk, on the computer, have it everywhere around you, where you, when you find yourself in those moments of negativity, you can grab something positive. I would like to say, pick a fruit, pick a fruit.
I love that, pick a fruit. I really want to hone in on something that you said though, like about the mantras, and that is that it's something that rings true for you, because I think a lot of people pick these things that they wish, but they don't actually feel it, they don't actually believe it, and
Mhm.
then that's where the disconnect is. I'm not saying that it has to be true yet, and that's 100% where faith comes in, but does it hit you and does that feel good? I think that that's the part that people miss sometimes, is does that really, are you saying it for you or because you think that's what it should be? Does that make sense?
Well, I think you say it because it needs to be said. If what you're not saying is making you feel a way, and that way
Mhm.
is not making you feel like you can continue on in that moment, you have to say it because it needs to be said. So
Mhm.
it's important that we tell ourselves the things that we want to hear, because a lot of times when we're in a position, it is because we're waiting for someone else to say things that we feel like they need to tell us. So sometimes you have to be that person. You have to be the advisor in your own life, the advice that you
Mhm.
would give to your best friend, the advice that you would give to your clients, your customers, the give yourself that same advice. And you have to be ready with that advice, because it's not a matter of if you're going to need it, it's when.
I like that. Not a matter of if, but when. And that is so true. And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of us like to have these habits in place, so that it comes naturally when we are in those moments versus scrambling to reach for it.
Mhm.
And oh, I love that so much. And you have definitely been a prolific person that puts goodness into the world, and I know that you have been co-author in many books, and I wanted to bring these ones up. This is a series that you're a part of, and I would love for you to talk about how this came about, because first of all, Debbie and Goliath, I love that. What about the ladies? So if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about your chapters and what's going on with these books and where they can find them.
Awesome. So they can be found on Amazon, as well as ASV offers on my personal website. But these books came along with a collaboration where I think it kind of meets the road of personal development and action oriented. oriented success, but
Mhm.
also experiences. I think it's important that, all three of these series, when we think about the habits of success, being focused and aligned and being empowered to walk in purpose, being able to not only know what we want, but to be in alignment, because it's
Mm.
very important that we are in alignment in our daily actions, in our daily habits, because a lot of times we're not focused, we're distracted. And we're not aligned. We're going in the opposite direction of where we want to go. So that's why
Mhm.
it's important that we have a plan. And then when we go to the first book of Habits of Success, what is it that you're doing every day? What is it that you need to do every day? So you have to have that. I like to say, decide, believe, and achieve.
Oh.
Decide, believe, and achieve. And when you do that, decide what it is that you want. And then you have to believe that you can have it, that you can do it, that
Mhm.
you can become it. And then take the necessary actions. That's the key ingredient to it all. Because just
Mhm.
having the thoughts that you want it, just believing that you can have it, but if you don't do nothing, getting back to my faith without works is dead. And I like to say it's
Mhm.
dead, dead, because if you don't do nothing, nothing is going to happen. And so I think this series, it empowers women to walk in purpose. It empowers women to be in alignment with what truly makes them happy, what
Mhm.
truly makes them fulfilled. And those books are just phenomenal, with the collaborating authors and the tips and the experiences and the stories that are within those pages. I think it's important that that we know that we have a choice to decide, what I really want.
I think that a lot of us get stuck in that day-to-day being and doing versus like, "Huh, what do I want?" It doesn't even occur, especially women. It's like taking care of the family, taking care of the job, taking care of everything. What do I want? Oh wait, I matter too. And two of the things that I love about you, action and speak. Because those two things I think are paramount in living a fulfilled life, especially females, because we're just sort of taught to be quiet and well, I mean, I know things are changing now, but I'm a little bit older, so I still remember. But I think
Right.
it's true for anybody. And I'm just curious though, because how does one get to the believing part? Because I know that is it faith? Is it just is that how you get to that? Is that knowingness? Is that faith related or for you? I'm referring to.
Correct. Oh, so for me, it is faith related.
Mm-hmm.
And it's believing what he said just because he said it for me. Having that faith and believing that I'm beautifully and wonderfully made, that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, that if I seek ye
Mm-hmm.
first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness, that everything else will be added unto me. And just shifting your mindset. I think is so important. I gets back to the, equal opposite,
Mm-hmm.
to not feel like I'm defeated, but I have already overcome. To
Mm-hmm.
not feel like I can't, but that I can. I think it's important that when we experience life and when we see that there are some shortcomings to, where we are, where we're going, and where we're trying to go, I think it's important that we, you know, um, work on the skills that are necessary, collaborate with others to get the things that we need that we don't have. That's why it's important to, leverage your connections so that you are able to get what you need that you don't have. I mean, it's nothing like having a body and everything not working. The hands can't be your feet. Your foot hands. Your arm is important, your legs important. Everything work together for
Mm-hmm.
your good. And so I think it's important that we change our mindset. And that comes
Yeah.
with work. It comes with work. And I like to say the battle of the mind is not one that we can lose. We can't lose that battle because it can overtake us, because what we think, whatever is in our minds, our body is going to follow. So it's important that we know what we're feeding our mind. That's by what we're reading, what we're watching, where we are, and all those places. If we want to have a stronger mind, a positive mind, we can't do negative things and be in places with negative people, people that
Mhm.
don't support us, don't believe in us. And you're going to have those people, but you don't have
Mhm.
to be in their environment.
I really like that because, it really is that easy, simple, but I mean, it takes practice, it takes faith, it takes, what I'm getting at is it's not a complicated answer. It's not like you have to do this, this. It's just like, just breathe into the moment. And I think also for me, as when I was low on faith, it came back to what story am I going to tell myself? Which is going to feed me better? So, yeah. For those that are watching, I just wanted to make sure that I point out that we put your website down below so people can get a hold of you, and also your QR code for those who prefer to do that, and they can reach out right away. But we are starting to get a little bit low on time, and I want to give you enough time to answer this question because I think that this is going to be pure gold, your answer. And that is, if there was one thing you'd wish that I would ask you about, what would that be?
Oh, wow. One thing I wish you would ask me about, what would that
Mhm.
be?
Yeah, what would you
Um,
like to tell everyone?
Believe it or not, I'm a really simple person. I think I would like for you to ask, how do I contribute to others?
Mhm.
And I think it's important. That question to me means a lot to me because I contribute without any expectations,
Right.
and not to say that I don't expect, because I love to see other women, especially win, but
Mhm.
people overall win. And I think that that's somewhat of what I see, sometimes a failure, because it's not about competition. It's not
Mhm.
about comparison. But I feel like if we collaborate and if we are able to build each other up, that we are really more alike than we are different. And I think if
Mhm.
we had the opportunity, for a collaboration and a connection to say, girl, yes, you can do that. And so I think it's important that when we are able to pull another sister up and not
Mhm.
push her down, I think that would be one thing that most people probably would feel like it's impossible for women to work together. That's not true.
No, it's not.
Because if we really communicate, we have the same problems, relationship problems, marriage problems, kids problems, career problems. We have the same type of concerns. And when
Mhm.
we think about we're better together, and that you can contribute to someone else being better, and someone
Mhm.
else recognizing that they have a purpose too, someone else building their confidence, that brings me great joy.
And that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to bring you on the show today, because you are such a generous hearted person. And you really, truly, in the short amount of time that I've known you, I feel like I can trust you with anything. And I don't know. It's just, and I love your wisdom, and that you're not like shy with it. You speak your truth, and that's not, for those of you watching, it's not the easiest thing to do. So I just want to say thank you, because if you didn't show up, who are you not serving?
Right. That's a great question.
Yeah,
We
who are
we
you not
must show
serving?
up. We must.
Yeah, I always think about that when I start to get down on myself. We have about a minute left, and we mentioned about your books, but what else would you love the audience to know about you?
Well, I would say that I have a program, if that's okay to
Oh,
say,
please do.
and
Yes.
it is called Dreams to Destination. It's like a 6-week program. Super excited about it. You can find it on my QR code. But I'm excited about that program for the mere fact, most people are sitting on their dreams,
Mm-hmm.
feeling like that it is possible for everybody else and not for them. And I want everyone to know that it's possible for you. It is possible for you to be successful. It is possible for you to live a fulfilled life. And it's time for us to start thinking that we're important too, because we have been taking care of little people and big people and everybody in between. But we need to know that what we want is important too.
Mm. I love that. And I love that too, because it goes right back down to action, like putting it from in here to out there.
Yes.
Making it real. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for being on the show today. It has been an absolute pleasure. I definitely need to have you come back and visit and, give updates on everything that's going on with you, because you're always up to something absolutely remarkable and amazing. So even if people are watching the show a year from now, all they have to do is go to your website and find you, and there or social media, and there you'll be with something new and amazing, another gift for the universe. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that is all the time we have for today, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you again next Thursday. Bye for now.